And here we go.
You Wouldn't Get It, episode
32.
32 of them. I mean, it feels like a milestone.
32 weeks.
32 weeks in a row without missing. We got 20 more, then we complete the year around the globe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But welcome to the pod. You Wouldn't Get episode 32. Phone number reminder, 215-278-8898. The questions have been coming in at a pretty consistent rate, which we're happy with.
Yeah.
So let's hop right into our first segment, Chris, and that is our controversial topic and opinion.
Oh, didn't you want to tell them about to check out our skits?
Yeah, check out our skits too. I just saw that. Check out our skits because they will be plentiful.
Yeah, we put them on TikTok. So if you want to see our little skits that don't have anything to do with the pod, but we do for fun, check it out on our TikTok at You Wouldn't Get It Pod. Right?
We're also on Instagram.
Yep.
Correctamundo. So our controversial topic / opinion for today is what's better, film or TV?
Yeah, this is like a highly debated one. And we were talking about this last night. And we were making some good points on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, I was arguing, like, movies because I think it's really hard in 2, 3, and even an hour and a half to make a really good movie.
Yeah.
And, like, a good-ass movie that you want to rewatch and, like, you kind of build a, like
relationship
with like the characters in the movie.
Oh, yeah, you connect with them. I think that TV allows you to connect with a character
For sure.
deeper because there's just more time. But film does it in a way that's more strategic and therefore I think more rewarding. You only see the parts of the character that you need to.
I agree. But like then you look at the other side and it's like in a like a TV show, it's pretty hard to make a really good TV show. Like you have like anywhere from like 3 to 10 seasons or more.
Yeah.
And and whoever 10 plus episodes per season and to keep people still watching is pretty impressive as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now with that said, there is a lot of what I feel to be it's not white noise, but it's like blank space almost during TV shows. They have some episodes.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
That you're like, I feel like I was not robbed of my time, but I feel like this wasn't necessary to the story. I feel like it was almost not a money grab, but similar to that. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good point. Like some episodes I'm watching, and I'm like, why does it just feel like it's like dragging on when we just like get to the point? Like, not that you don't want to build up that like, you know what I mean? Like that climax, that character arc, but sometimes it does feel like we're literally we're in the studio like, what can we put here to fill in time?
Yeah, exactly. Some shows that I don't feel like do that.
Game of Thrones.
Succession. Game of Thrones.
Some people argue towards the end they did, but.
And I think any TV show has to do it because you probably get to the point where you say, okay, we have this climax at the end. We're here at the beginning.
That's a good point. I guess Game of Thrones, the first couple episodes of each season kind of felt like that.
It's hard to push a story forward, number one. It's even harder when you're also trying to make it funny.
Yeah, no, for sure. Succession, that's a great example. I agree.
Because a lot of times what's funny in a narrative, whether it's a film or TV, is the fact that a character can't get what they want. And that's what we find funny. For example, this is season 1 Succession, but when Kendall can't take control of the company and he starts to sort of fall into a downward spiral, it is a bit humorous, some of the stuff that he's doing. But you wouldn't be able to... I don't even know where I'm going with this point.
Oh, okay. I think what you were trying to say was that, like, even like in... what season are we on now? 4?
4 is coming out probably.
So in 3 seasons, it's still the same kind of story, but somehow entertaining.
Yeah. No, it is.
Like, Kendall can't take over, like...
Roman can't, and
Shiv can't.
But
it's still entertaining to me.
It's good writing. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got to keep the story. It's a masterclass in writing.
Yeah, I go back and forth too because like sometimes I want to just watch a movie, like watch it, and then by the end of it, I get the point. I understand it. Like there's no more strings attached.
Yeah.
But other times you're like, damn, like I want to build that relationship with the character in the TV, like in like a TV show more. Mm-hmm. So you want that dragged out thing, but sometimes that can feel daunting too, having to watch 10 seasons of a TV show. So I could see how I could go either way with this. You know what I mean?
I do like when TV. You can actually tell that the story needed that much time to progress. A great
100%.
example, I know you haven't seen it, was Breaking Bad, but we would have never been able to see the progression of Walter White in a movie. Yeah. It would be too hard. They tried to do it. I mean, they made a few movies regarding or involving Breaking Bad, and they still, I don't think, do it justice.
Yeah.
That's a series that I think needs TV to be as successful as it was. But a movie that we just watched, like Leon the Professional, doesn't it just feel like you'd want to watch? It gives it more rewatch value, whereas TV shows need to build up a lot more to give it rewatch value.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Like I'll sit here, I'm happy to rewatch Leon, even if it's the same story, because there's things I can pick up on. In a TV show, it's like, okay, I've seen so much of this character that honestly I don't know how much more I need.
I'm trying to think if there's ever the only TV show I ever rewatched is probably Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, I rewatch Peaky
And
Blinders.
I don't know if there's anything like Game of Thrones. I'll throw on an episode. That's it. I don't like rewatching TV shows and Sopranos.
Oh, we rewatched Stranger Things.
Stranger Things too. Yeah, which are like some of the best shows I think ever made. So.
Yeah, it's an art form. Here's what I'll say. I'm glad that both are still being made. I'm glad that we haven't picked one or the other because there's so much value in both. I didn't go. I on my couch saw Licorice Pizza, and that's a great movie. Paul Thomas Anderson is a great filmmaker, and he makes that's his art form, and he does it in great style, whereas someone goes and maybe makes a TV show that we're waiting to come out for, like you said, Stranger Things Season 4, and it's like, I'm just glad that both of them are being made. We haven't fallen to one side or the other.
And also to wrap it up, wouldn't you say that there's like a difference between like actors in TV shows and actors in movies? Like, does that make any sense? Like, some actors are built for TV shows, I feel like, and some are built for movies. Like, James Gandolfini, I think, is the best TV show actor of all time.
What do you think that is?
That might be biased, but, like, I've seen his movies, and he's okay in them.
What do you think that is? Is that
I think it's the script, kind of, part of it. Like the show, for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's hard to judge actors on that because they really work with what they're given.
For sure, 100%. But you get what I'm saying? Like, some actors are like Cillian Murphy's a fantastic TV show actor.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's not a great example because I like him in other stuff. But you get my point. Like,
yeah.
When I think of him, that's the first thing I think of, that and Scarecrow.
It's just a different medium.
We'll see Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's great.
Oppenheimer.
Speaking of movies, guys, this time next week, it'll be a day before I shoot for my first movie. So excited. Chris heard me on a phone call before this. A lot to get done, but keep an eye out for it. Daisy is coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. Want to get into our headlines that caught our eyes?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'll take the first
one. Yeah.
The first one was, we had Coachella 2022, so it was the weekends of April 17th and the 19th, and also the 10th to the 12th. A lot of celebrities there. Like we said in the past, the news has been sort of dry. I'm
Really
not sure
dry.
what it is, but this large gathering of... Chris and I were talking about it. We don't really know what Coachella is. Do you know what Coachella is?
No. We were talking about like how like I've heard of all these festivals. Like there's like Firefly and all these crazy ones, and like I've at least heard of people going to them. But Coachella is one that like the only people I know who go to them are like movie stars, these influencers. I don't know anyone else who goes to them. So I feel like it's some weird scheme going on.
There's definitely a secret cult for lizard people.
No, I
would
honestly
say.
wouldn't doubt it. Like some weird ritual. Like there's some weird stuff going on there.
Because
and everyone there looks like they're out of their minds on something. Like I mean, I guess it is a festival vibe, but
maybe it's just my experience with social media, but I don't see much documentation of it.
yeah, no, I agree 100%.
It almost seems like a facade has been put on.
I agree. Like if you told me that these like influencers were just standing in front of like cardboard boxes with like paint on the background, I believe it.
So I saw a video also of Timothée Chalamet. Looked a bit banged up, I can't lie. Was obviously avoiding the camera that was projected his way. But
Was he just in the crowd?
No, he was in a more VIP.
That's what I was wondering, because like all these influencers, are they just in the crowd, or like how does that work?
He was in a VIP higher section. Do you think, Chris, on average, because obviously the celebrities in sort of the peak of pop culture, they look great, they perform great. How often do you think that they use substances?
Oh yeah, that's an interesting question.
Because I feel like we look at them to be perfect because that's how it's propagated by the media.
No, I'd say a lot of them. Like
think?
I put it at 60% of them, 65 are using some crazy stuff. I'm not counting like alcohol and marijuana. I'll give like that like 90% of them.
You think 65% in today's day and age?
Yeah, no, I'd say a lot of them have like drug problems for sure.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
See, I guess I might be a little naive, but I feel like there has been sort of a push towards mental health and overall well-being. And it's not the 70s or the 80s. I don't even know if I'm quoting the right time frames. But
I don't want to say actors' names on here for defamation purposes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's no actual like this isn't written in stone. But like there's a lot of actors I can name off the top of my head that just through like doing some digging on Twitter and stuff, I had no clue, but they had like crazy cocaine and like all kinds of problems that I was like, what? She or he was in my favorite like movie as a kid. You know what I mean? So it's really more low key than you probably expect.
But that's what I'm saying. It was when you were more so when we were kids. Now I think there's sort of been a push. I could be wrong.
No. I'm talking about actors now, but like I've seen movies of them when I was kids, and I'm like, holy crap, that's like they were freaking in Princess Diaries. I'm just making that up. But like, you know what I mean?
I mean, there's a ton of different theories. I don't want to get into them because most of them are outlandish about what substances people use for high performance. But
what about Jim Carrey? I feel like he does nothing.
I feel like he does nothing. Jim Carrey.
He seems like a great guy.
There's a lot, Chris. There's a lot on Jim Carrey that I don't even feel comfortable bringing up on the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's facts. I already know what you're talking about. Like, there's a lot of
with his girlfriend.
Yeah, with his girlfriend and with like Hollywood trying to like kind of silence him.
Yeah,
his girlfriend some crazy theories.
Passed away, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and I think one way or another it was.
I already know where you're going with this.
I don't want to say it because I don't want them after me.
Speaking of actors, the only big thing on the news is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial right now.
Well, also Ezra Miller.
Yeah. Oh, Ezra Miller too. Yeah. But like, all I'm saying is if Johnny Depp wins the lawsuit, Amber Heard's ruining it for people who really have like assault problems with like men. Like that's messed up. So
yeah.
It's looking really good for him too. Like it's looking like she was the abuser. But I'll leave it at that. We'll leave it up to the courts. But
yeah, for sure. If you're not familiar, there's currently a domestic violence trial going on between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
No. That got dropped. This is a defamation trial.
Okay, so now that was dropped.
He lost all his movies that he was in, and she got to keep all hers. So he's like, dude, like the only company that stayed with him was Dior, and it's looking like he was innocent. So now he's like suing her for $50 million for defamation.
I wonder why Dior like chose to stay with him.
Hey man, I respect the loyalty.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
And also Ezra Miller, who I believe was in The Perks of Being a Wallflower and also played The Flash recently.
Yeah, he played Flash, yep.
He's been in some trouble. Ezra Miller.
And he's in Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts,
yeah. He's been getting in trouble, like fights in Hawaii and stuff.
Dude, I don't understand.
Yeah, he's definitely on drugs.
Chris, I think I think that what we both agree on is that if we were to, I don't think we've talked about this before. We're not singly focused on fame or anything like that. But if we were to acquire at least a small level of it, I just feel like I'd be able to manage my emotions more.
Yeah, I think we're a lot more grounded than some of these people. I'll be
honest. Is crazy because you look at them and you're like, okay, Sean Penn made a great point on a podcast that I heard earlier in the year where he said, just because actors are really good at one thing doesn't mean they're great at everything.
That's a great point, yeah.
You know?
And some of them were child stars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I couldn't imagine being brought up in the limelight and then like you know what I mean? Like, you know, at our age we're like a little more understanding. So there's a little bit of a difference I could see, you know.
Yeah.
But
but back to, like wrap it up with Coachella.
Oh man, we have Alchella. Isn't that what it's called?
There's something at Temple called Alchella, and Jack Harlow and Sway Lee are actually going, and Chris and I are going. It's tomorrow night.
Yeah. So you might see some skits on TikTok of us.
Keep your eyes out.
Let's just say I'm trying to get Jack Harlow's attention at all costs.
Yeah. Jack Harlow will be on the pod next weekend. Yeah. You can believe that. Our first guest.
I want to see some ass.
Baby, can you throw away a bag?
First Class.
First Class. I want to hear what you guys think of the song First Class because great.
It grew on me a little bit more, actually. It's still a little underwhelming, but it's a lot better now.
I actually like his verses. People
I don't mind it either anymore. At first, I didn't like it.
We're catering right to your wants and needs, Jack. We're gonna have on stage.
We're gonna have Jack Harlow and Drewski on this pod next week.
No, at some point I will manifest that we will have them on here.
Yeah, I agree.
We have a very much a change of course with our next article. Chris, what is it?
Inflation, guys. Yeah. Oh man, unreal. The silent killer, right?
Silent but deadly. It's like a fart.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. Like I'm like putting $5 in my tank at a time.
It's unreal out here. And the inflation ain't.
What did we get? We said somewhere we got it was 8.5%.
8.5%.
I've heard higher.
In my finance class, they were saying 10, 11.5.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, closer to 11, which is pretty nuts.
Unreal.
Yeah, but like it's so believable. Like look at the price of like food. Like, when you go to the grocery store.
I'm
getting killed over here.
Chipotle's raising theirs.
Oh God,
Dude, I was in a small grocery store the other day. You'll know which one I'm talking about to get fruit. That isn't an actual grocery
oh
store.
my, oh that grocery store is overpriced.
A bag of grapes was $8.
No. Like a 4-ounce little pint of blueberries
$8.
was $6 or $7. But if you go to the store and actually buy them like in like a little bit bigger of a thing, it's cheaper.
Is it?
Insane? Yeah. Those
I don't know why I even go there.
Boutique stores are too much, dude.
It's crazy, and it's not even that.
I'd rather shoot my immune system.
We were talking about this. You can't get a T-shirt for $20 anymore,
Oh, that's facts. If we were in our school store yesterday getting our caps and gowns,
which are inflated in themselves.
I want to talk about the price of them. I've heard that Tom paid double and more for his.
That's
swear to God,
insane.
but we won't talk about the price.
Colleges really try to squeeze.
No,
you,
no,
man.
we're looking at we were just looking at like T-shirts, and we were like, "That's a cool shirt." I was like, "Bet it's $40." It was like 35 for a damn T-shirt. I could have sworn back in the day, like 4 years ago, it was like 20, 25
Last
for
year.
a T-shirt. Literally, like it doesn't even make sense anymore. $40 for a T-shirt?
It's crazy.
That's where like a crew neck used to be, like a long sleeve. They're like 70 now.
How much do you think you
A
have?
hoodie's going to be 100.
How much do you think you have to make? What is the new 100K? Is it 150K?
No, I kind of agree. Like the new like 100K now is like 60.
Yeah.
Like 100K is going to be like the bare minimum like pretty soon.
Pretty soon, the way things are inflating.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the sad part is the salaries really aren't increasing that much with
No.
inflation. So that's the problem.
and I'm not sure how much employers are talking about it.
yeah,
Because
no, they don't.
It's got to be tough on them too, not to be like, oh, you know.
Well, a thing I learned is what employers will convince you is like they'll give you raises at most companies every year, but it's 2 to 3%, and people are like, oh, great. But like when you really think about it,
I know.
if like inflation is even 5% or more a year, like your raise is not
You're losing money.
Exactly, yeah. Like it doesn't meet
Yeah.
inflation, so you're really losing money at the end of the day. And if you don't invest, you're really getting screwed.
Do you think, speaking of investing and just this overall, do you think there's another financial crisis headed for us, U.S.?
Well, I'm not a financial advisor, so
Yeah.
it's hard to say.
None of this is financial advice.
Yeah, you got to preface that. Yeah.
None of it. Just
there's
talking
definitely,
shop.
I think when you have a pandemic and you had Trump and Biden both passed packages that
Yeah.
were well over $1 trillion, I'm not going to blame either or.
Yeah.
I think when you put that much money and print it out and put it in the economy, you're definitely going to be expecting inflation, some sort of bubble arising.
There's a bubble,
I've heard
yeah.
the housing bubble. I've heard the economic a bubble. So, I mean, it's hard to say, but I would say it's very likely, yes.
I heard that this was a metric a while ago, but 40%, back in November of 2021, 40% of all the money circulating through the economy was printed within the last 12 months.
I believe that 100%.
That's
like
unreal.
Trillions of dollars were printed in these bills. And some of the bills I think were needed, and some I don't. I'll just leave it at that. But
And you know what's tough is that this technological advancement is occurring at the same time as the inflation. So you have non-fungible tokens, NFTs coming out, and digital currency. And then you have the pressure of people saying, oh, you have to get in because you're losing money if you don't.
yeah, you're right.
It's like, man, can we go back to the 70s when there was just, I don't even know if it was the 70s, but the 1920s?
Yeah, we talked about this last episode. Like, how much is too much innovation?
Really?
Like, actually.
Can-
and I kind of agree with that.
I don't know if I want to be in a pod pretending that I'm in the Bahamas.
yeah.
I'd
I mean,
rather-
we got a green screen, but I mean,
We could put whatever we want back here.
yeah. No, I agree.
It's
You start to lose that personable, personal connection.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there's a crisis coming and a crash.
For sure.
And and that's not
Are
me.
we talking about like technology or the economy right now? Because now I'm confused.
I'm not well versed enough to make a poignant, firm opinion on anything.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think 99% of people don't actually.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is the 1%.
But I was just looking at it from when you pump trillions of dollars in.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. I'll assume something not great arises from
There's
that.
a bubble right now for sure,
Yeah, that's what I think.
and
at least.
it's gonna pop.
Yeah, but yeah, not to harp too much on that. We're not financial advisors, but we just
Yeah.
thought it'd be funny to bring it up.
And not to get negative on you guys, but
No,
hey,
no.
sometimes you gotta look for the facts.
We're gonna lighten it up though, right?
Oh yeah, we got a reaction segment that we hold near and dear to our hearts. This one, not only is it great, Chris, to just read these and laugh and sort of almost take the pressure off us a little bit,
Yeah,
but also these perform well on the TikTok.
they do. It performs well on the TikTok, and it also makes me realize that we aren't so crazy after all.
Yes.
That there are insane people in the world.
Yes,
Right?
because we might be crazy and tell people that, you know, we wish we were Artie Fleck or something, but at least we're not doing some of the stuff you're about to hear. So, Chris, why don't you take the first reaction here? The first article that we're going to react to. Guys, if you aren't aware, we get these from Ask Reddit. Great resource.
Yeah. So the reactions we're reacting to this week, weirdest things to happen at a friend's house that they thought was normal. So right when I read this to Steve, really, I can only imagine what's going to come next.
Yeah.
So this is one story. They walked around nude at home 24/7. My friend invited me over to play Nintendo after school. When he had gotten in, he stripped down butt-ass naked and went to make a sandwich. Everyone else was already bare-ass and loitering?
Yep, just hanging around.
Oh, man. That's pretty funny.
I just don't understand how that starts. Is it family history? Who's the first person in this family tree that said, you know what? No clothes in the house.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And like, I don't know anyone who does this, but I feel like there are people who do. Like,
it's a little bit freeing.
Clearly.
I feel like it's a little bit freeing to do it.
Well, yeah, if you're like single or like maybe when your wife, I guess, with no kids and no friends are coming over, I think where the line needs to be drawn is when there's like people coming over.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe when you have kids. I mean, I'm all for being open with my parents. And like I tell them mostly everything, but I don't know. I think there is a thing is too open.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Walking around nude.
Adam and Eve, I get it. Like they did that whole story. You can read that to me for days on end. That doesn't mean it already happened. They ate Johnny Appleseed's apple. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and he plucked it off the tree.
Yeah, so
him and George Washington was that Abe Lincoln? Chopping down the trees.
Yeah, I thought it was George Washington, right? It wasn't
Columbus, Christopher Columbus, sail in the ocean blue.
Who started that rumor that George Washington had wooden teeth? Like, I don't think that's true.
What does that even mean?
Somewhere along the line, a teacher told all of us in America, they started feeding us this thing that George Washington had wooden teeth. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's
someone's great-great-great-grandmother definitely got ghosted by George Washington.
Yeah, facts.
And she was on Ancestry.com, and she was like, I'm ruining this dude's reputation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wait till they get a load of this one.
Yeah, no.
His teeth were probably just brown. Everyone during that time period, his teeth were brown.
Ancestry.com, you've created a villain here.
Oh, God.
But back to this, it's like, first off, how do you just do that and see I don't know, but also when someone who's in the house comes in and you don't think anything of it, you just strip down and you're like, hey, can you pause Mario Kart for a second? I got to get out of these tidy whities.
I have so many questions because every time I walk into a friend's house, it's just relatively normal. Like there's brothers and sisters and family there. But imagine walking in and everyone's just naked.
The dad is butt naked cooking eggs.
What's going on? Oh, that's weirder. Yeah. He's like cooking food.
Turns around. He's like, hey, you want some?
Yeah. You're like eating the eggs. Is there hair in it?
Oh my God!
Oh, dude.
I mean, it's a valid point.
Gross.
It could happen.
Oh, man.
It could happen in theory. That is a good one.
Yeah, that's one that get us
the
going.
Naked Family.
Yeah.
The Naked Brothers Band.
What do you got up for me? Because I don't know how anyone's gonna top. That's pretty odd.
Yeah, I got something.
I hope this all makes you guys realize that your families aren't so crazy as you believe. Like everyone's like, oh no, you haven't met my family. No, you haven't met the Naked Family.
Humans are just so weird.
Yeah.
But I like it because it's entertaining.
I like it to a point. That's a little.
Well, no. Yeah. Yes, don't quote me on liking that.
I know.
Here we go. All right. So the next one is this one. It is. They found out. All right. So I found out my best friend thought the toilet seat was for kids. He would straight up sit on the rim of the toilet and poop until he found out when we were in college at 22.
College, you found that out? We were talking about this yesterday. The part of the toilet seat that's not the seat, like the part under it, is a sacred spot that no human's buttock should ever touch. Like I was talking about ours. Ours has like. Not to get too vulgar, guys.
Don't say it.
Has pee.
Just don't. That's it. There's things there that shouldn't be there, but it's okay because there's the toilet seat.
Exactly.
There's a protective shield.
But why would anyone in their right mind think that's normal? It's cold, probably.
Yeah, it's frigid.
I don't have any experience with this.
Imagine he's in a public restroom doing this.
Oh,
you know,
that's a great point too. That's disgusting. The toilet seat in a public restroom is gross, let alone the part under it. And I always put the toilet paper down like. I'm putting like 10 layers.
And let's think, even when you're a kid, they have the toilet seat that is sort of
Yeah, so they
smaller.
just have like a smaller one, but you still are sitting on the toilet.
So what did you think? It was just for abnormally large kids?
That's what I thought too. Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing.
Just-
Why would that just be for kids?
just 5'9", 13-year-olds that haven't grown into their body?
Yeah. Well, I wish that was our problem.
Yeah, right? I'd love to grow into a new
13-year-old,
body.
Jesus.
Dude, there was some 13-year-olds that were 6'2",
Oh man.
and I'm just sitting there. I'm not even 5 foot.
Yeah. No, I know.
Just
it's
what?
insane.
Just why did I get dealt the 2 and the 7? This guy's got pocket kings.
You know, we make up for it in a lot of ways.
Would you care to share?
Oh no, I just think we're like pretty funny. I guess not as weird as the Naked Family.
Yeah, no, you know what it is? We are definitely unique
Yeah.
in our comedy and in the way we look at the world.
And I was reading a book like you don't. Oh, sorry.
I like how off the bat we're
No, I was reading a book about like relationships, and it was like you don't want to be like everybody else necessarily.
No.
Like girls like it when you're unique. per
yeah,
se.
I'm a quirky guy.
Yeah.
So back to the toilet seat. Yeah, the dude should probably get checked out by a doctor because there's a chance he has perhaps an uncurable disease.
Yeah, like a prostate infection or something.
Because you know when you maybe eat from a spoon that your dad ate from earlier in the day, you're like, oh man, I put that out. It's like, oh, those germs. Imagine sitting there and thinking, I did something compromising to my immune system for 22 years. And my when you're in the toilet, it's pretty private. Who's going to tell you?
Yeah, that's a great point. Like drinking
It's similar to the
sink
folding.
water.
Folding your toilet paper. Like no one's going to be there to tell you. That's something you got. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're right though. Like you should be like your intuition should tell you this is not right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I like? Like it's like the cheaper toilet seats, but like the ones that are like soft and not
Yes.
not like the cold, more expensive ones. Like, I like the
Yes.
ones that are like plush and cheap.
It's almost a plastic.
Yeah, it's like a plastic and foamy, and it's like this is nice. This is
Yeah.
really nice.
I feel like I get a little cushion.
Yeah, I
rather
agree.
than my back's getting broken.
Yeah, my back's getting blown out by the neighbor's toilet seat. You know.
The outhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, you take the next reaction.
Okay. Yep. We're going on these tangents today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's funny stuff.
So this one's a pretty good one. It says at every meal, my ex's parents would set a plate on the table for the dog. The dog would sit in a chair and eat at the table with the people.
So I've heard of dogs. Maybe you make an extra steak for the dog.
Yeah, I've heard of feeding your dog. Like we feed my dog Italian food. Like I'm being so serious. Like my dog eats like meatballs,
Just gnocchi.
like meatball and gnocchi
Does
pasta.
it mess
anything.
up his or her stomach?
Our dogs live to 18 or 19, so I'd say
Okay.
the dog food diet that we were talking about last week, like I don't know. Maybe it's an Italian thing, but
It's funny how
we
it
got a
all
little
comes.
rat dog. That
It all comes full circle because we were just recently talking about dog pellets. So now we're back and we're talking about the finer
And I was talking-
echelon of dog eating.
I agree, yeah, because I was talking about how the dog food didn't smell too bad. Like it smelled like the roast beef.
So so I wonder how this is set up because is he just sitting at the head of the table? You walk into the door and you're like, oh, that's just Walter. He's on his hind legs. He's got a tie on.
Yeah, right. He's like dressed in clothes. Oh, don't mind him. He does that often.
He's cutting his own food.
Yeah, I mean,
does it look
I wonder
like?
if Scooby Doo sat at the table.
Scrappy did.
Yeah.
Scrappy Doo did.
Well, yeah, well, Scrappy Doo at times bested Scooby Doo, but Scooby Doo in the end prevailed.
Scooby Doo paved the way for Scrappy Doo. Scrappy Doo, because I knew it was coming.
Yeah, I couldn't hold it in.
Like Scoob, we gotta get out of here.
Like Scoob, I'm not eating that dog food.
Like
Hey,
Scoob,
Shaggy,
would
you weren't supposed to eat the dog food.
like Scoob? I've already eaten half the package.
I have rabies now.
Yeah. So I don't know how that looks, but I have to imagine it's entertaining.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Out of all the ones we read, that's not the craziest. Like, if I saw that, I would definitely be a little creeped out, but I wouldn't never go back to my friend's house because of that. Like, it'd probably be pretty funny. Like, they're like, yeah, we know this is weird, but like, you know.
Dogs are soft though. Imagine not being able to eat chocolate. That's soft.
Yeah, what else can't they eat? Like pork or something?
Chocolate? That's it.
No.
No, there's other things.
There's like pork.
Yeah, dude.
Even though, it's funny because I'll watch my dog and like my dog will eat things that are forbidden.
Yeah, dogs are. Yeah, we could do a whole episode.
Big
on
dogs are pretty funny because they'll just eat like plastic and like the couch.
Yeah, they'll be eating the tissues.
Why would you want to eat that? It's not even good. Like it's
they
fabric.
They can't even control themselves.
No.
Oh, that's funny. All right, should I move into our last one?
Yeah, sure. We're really going on tangents today, but I don't mind it. I hope
No,
you guys-
not at all.
We're just trying to brighten people's day.
Hey, at least try not to darken it after we talked about inflation and financial crises.
Yeah, right. And about how your employers are treating you guys wrong.
So this one says, I babysat for a family on occasion, and the kids would always ask for a cool cup. And I had no clue what it was. They asked for them constantly, but were too little to really describe them enough for me to understand. I mentioned it to the mom in passing one day, and she started laughing, chuckling, and went to the fridge, got 2 bell peppers, and cut the tops off of them, and took out the seeds. Then filled the peppers with tap water. The kids went nuts over them like they were treats.
Oh, wow.
It was really weird to me that drinking water out of bell peppers was a thing to beg for on the regular.
Yeah, that's a little odd. I'm not gonna lie. Like
A bell pepper?
a bell pepper, like you just eat them. Like
Can't even get them Brita water?
if they were putting like ground beef in there and making food with the bell peppers, that's completely normal. But
Yeah,
like
sure.
drink it. Why would you waste a good pepper? Like unless they're drinking the water then eating the pepper.
You know what? This is a good... At least these parents hacked away to get their kids eating good and
I was
healthy.
just about to say that because they're eyeing up bell peppers like they're candy. That's not bad.
The rates of obesity in America, yeah, it's good news.
Yeah, well,
More
because we're
kids-
normalizing it.
More kids should be eating cool cups. They should be having cool
Yeah.
cups.
I agree. Let's
It's-
talk. Oh, sorry.
No, I don't even know what I was going to say. Go
I
ahead.
don't know what I was going to say either. I was about to say, like, let's talk about portion sizes, but I don't even know what the hell that's.
No, I know what you mean because in Italy and in Europe, I mean, they give you the small portions.
I was talking to my grandma, and I was like asking what they eat because, like I was just like curious because they're all skinny there. She said,
Yeah.
like, there's not really. She said there's not really any fat people there.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like they literally eat pasta and all these foods, and I'm like, well, how the hell can they eat all that and be skinny? I don't understand it. Like, it has to be portion sizes,
Yeah.
something, right? Maybe they do more exercise than the average American, but how, right?
Yeah.
Show us the secret.
So, yeah, give me the secret.
I don't know.
I think, you know what, Chris? I feel like you're going to come back from Italy this summer
And
your
be like 5 pounds lighter, but have eaten
your
shit.
stomach's going to be smaller.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Now, bear in mind, I'll be doing a lot of touring around, so that's a lot of
Yeah.
walking.
Yes.
So that could definitely be due to that, but
and that could be it. It's just way
that might
nicer.
be what it is.
It's way nicer there, so you spend more time outside.
That's a
The
great
more-
point, yeah.
The more time you spend outside, especially in nicer weather, the more you sweat, the more you want to exercise, the
like
happier
they're
you
looking
feel.
at the Coliseum or like Lake Como, and I walk outside my house and I'm staring at a concrete building half built or being knocked down.
Yeah.
You know?
It's unreal. I mean, you look out my window, it's literally bricks.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
I'm leaning
You
over-
open the window and I hear the damn AC unit next door.
I'm leaning over my desk to try to get some sort of visual aesthetic pleasure.
Yeah, no, you're not lying.
And all it is a backyard.
I can't even open my window because we don't have a screen, and I don't. Lord knows what animals will come in my room.
Yeah, last week we tried to open up the downstairs window and 40 flies just start making their way in,
it's
making their
true.
way downtown.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying.
What can we do besides
I'd say
rebel
about
against the
once
king?
a week, I have like an air unit in my room, and a bird flies in it and goes absolutely berserk and wakes me up at like 6:30 a.m. I'm not making
That's
this up.
terrible.
It happens like all the time.
Yeah, one time you're sitting there, you're like, hey, there's a bird in my AC unit.
Yeah, and then I guess it flew out. They just fly out, but it's pretty terrifying because I think it's gonna get in.
I say we start the change in America. Everyone gets a cool cup. That should be the new treat. Halloween, you're handing out cool cups, bell peppers with water in them.
Yeah,
And
you know what? I was gonna say this is a weird one, but honestly, if it normalizes vegetables and gets American obesity, we take that shit down.
We take it down?
Yeah.
Then
we're all for it.
sign me up.
Bell peppers and cups. Bell pepper cup.
And tap water.
Yeah, and tap water. The lead in the tap water is really good for you.
Hello?
What?
Oh, okay. They
Oh,
weren't
are
they weren't
are
supposed
they
to
here?
come for another 15. Okay, so our what are they? Our sponsors are
Yeah,
here?
I don't really know what their pronouns are. They really aren't really anything.
Okay, yeah, I mean they're almost holograms. So they're okay. One of them entered the room without our consent. Sir, if you could please just relax.
Could you put that down?
dude, get out of it, dude. What are you doing? Howdy, folklore.
We are back, better than ever on the You Would Get It, but Not Really, but Maybe blogcast.
After 30 days of out-of-school suspension enforced by the co-hosts of the show,
And we spent this time constructing the greatest NFT project known to man. We present
the Rural East Bumble Farmland Barn NFT Collection. NFT standing for non-feasible turkey leg.
Our first piece of digital art is a doozy. We have Farmer Brown pictures scaling the barn roof, pitchfork in hand, trying to take down Ramus Lupin as werewolf, preventing him from violently mauling his flock of sheep. All while the cheese stands alone.
Next up, we have an abstract masterpiece by the renowned artist whose surname is Newt. Using Thad Castle's jungle juice and the bones of his elders, Newt was able to create a piece that resembles the Hunchback of Notre Dame's rise to hierarchical power in the 1400s in the light, but in the dark, looks like the famous Mona Lisa, except the individual pictured in the Count of Monte Cristo if you squint hard enough.
And finally, the main piece, currently valued at 700 trillion, is a fresco secco of Newt's Conqueror's Jimmy Neutron Treehouse, made by none other than the duo of Zach Galifianakis and Pablo Picasso's right-handed man, Thurgood Marshall.
The piece is titled Autoportrait de Triton, photographed sous le portrait de la grande forteresse de Tallahassee.
So get your bids ready, as these pieces will fly off the marketplace.
Head to Newt.com/NFT to get in the waiting line digitally.
Any thoughts, Newt?
Newt! You heard them, folks. Check out the
Rural East Bumble Farmland Barn NFT and Fish Food Collection. Howdy, folks. Ciao.
Alrighty, folks. Folklore, I guess.
Folklorington.
Did you try? Bro, I cannot.
Dude, we got to get those guys out of the room. They're nuts, those dudes.
Nah, it's just because, like, I'm not even sure what this is becoming.
Yeah.
This show, but I
I
love
don't
it.
know either. We realize we need to go back to our roots and hire those country guys because everyone always seems to love them the best.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah,
But
we got to work on our country accents. But
something that we don't, I don't know how I was going to make that transition. We have our Fan 5 now.
why do we call it the Fan 5? We need to change the name of it.
Because the
Let's just call it
because the fans write in questions and we answer them.
But why the Fan 5? We ask one question. Like, why not just the fan questions?
Fan 5 minutes. Because we usually do only spend 5 minutes on it.
But what's that called? Like the list. We'll just call listeners' questions.
Listeners' questions. I like that. All right, guys. Apparently that was so hard to do, but it is called listeners' questions from here on out.
Well, I just think it's so ambiguous at Fan 5. Like, now people are like, oh, we can ask questions.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. So this is listeners' questions.
Mark!
The one that we got today is if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Great question, actually.
I feel like I'm not in the mindset to answer this.
No, I don't think we are either. But that's a great question.
Okay,
Me or you?
I would, let's see. 18-year-old self, I would first tell myself to...
It was only 4 years ago.
I know.
But like with that said, those 4 years feel like an eternity.
Yes.
And I feel like in 4 years I've learned so much.
About myself, about the world.
Everything.
I would say yes to more things responsibly. It's an answer I use a lot, but it's so true.
No, that's completely fair.
You really don't... The price of saying yes is so cheap often, but the rewards that you can get can be plentiful.
Yeah, I agree.
Just by showing up. By showing up or saying, yeah, I got you. Someone needs help for half a day on a film set. Yeah, I got you. All of a sudden, their career is starting to go up and they're bringing you... It's like, say yes to more things and be less scared to say yes to those things.
Yeah, and you can like learn things about yourself you might not have previously. You might not have known you liked something until you said yes to something. Or you could meet some really cool and interesting people just by saying yes to something. So I really like that a lot.
Exactly. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I was thinking about something like kind of focused on like doing what makes you happy and not what others are happy. Like sometimes my parents don't do this, but I know a lot of people who do. Like their parents will want them to be this or that, and like they'll try doing that, but they just don't actually want to be that. So like they don't have that passion for it and they're not happy with life. Like me, I've had like the ability to just do whatever I want, and like I'm so much happier for that. Does that make sense? Like
yeah.
Like if your intuition is telling you, I feel like I should really be doing this or that instead, do it. Like you're so young, especially if you're around our age, like just go after it, let alone any age really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like a sub point I wanted to hit on is I also like tell my 18-year-old self to not care what other people think. We always talk about this, but that's something I've gotten over in my 20s and like I feel like has been a huge impact in my life.
Yeah, I mean the best way to make art, which art has such a broad definition, it's just really the creations of humans.
Literally, the creation of anything.
To make art, to make something artful, it's like you have to listen to exactly what your self is telling you. There's no other way. You can't cater to what people might want to see. You have to be, okay, this is everything I gave into this. Because think about movies that, I always go to movies, but think about movies that you're like, man, that was really profound. you'll read about it, and the studio didn't get involved that much and wasn't like, hey, we need to do all of this to accomplish what we want. It was more about, hey, we see your vision and we want to bring you on because we believe in it.
I agree. Yeah.
And you need to be that person for yourself in the short term, I guess, or the beginning of things. But I don't know, man, because we talk about this all the time. Your 18-year-old self, the stuff that we've experienced over the last 4 years, in a way has shaped us.
Dude, when you're 18, you're in this bubble. Like we went to a small Catholic school, and you're just in this bubble of like, you're just like, oh, like I can take on the world.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you think you're the shit. And
Yeah.
then you go to college or whatever you do, you go start your career, and it really humbles you because like you realize you're like a little like speckle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
You need that, I think.
it's humbling in many ways because you realize, okay, what I do maybe doesn't matter right now.
Yeah.
So I can get myself to a point where what I do does matter. At the same time, it still won't actually matter that much if
I
you
agree.
fail.
Yeah. And like life will carry on with or without you. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of up to you at that point. Like you're not the shit. The world
No.
doesn't revolve around you. You're not the CEO of some company.
Yeah.
Like what are you going to do now to, leave your mark?
Yeah, I would say I would also tell my 18-year-old self to spend more time with myself. Because
Yeah, I like that a lot.
because how sort of the course of my life has gone on. When I was 18, went to Temple, right, and you sort of get caught up in the first thing that I guess makes you feel like you have purpose, which was business, which was being in the business school and I guess chasing some things in that area.
Sorry, the chairman is like I think Crispy's dumbass like lowered it. It's all like I feel like I'm like a little
No, you're
boy
good.
next to you.
No,
so
you're
I
good.
was like trying to raise it, but screw it. You know what? Today I'll be your child.
So back to what I was saying, spend more time with yourself because you can get caught up in things that you don't actually want to do very easily because other people want to do them and they set them up well.
That is a great point. Yeah, because the people you surround yourself with, you tend to draw,
Yeah.
their interest into yours. Like, you know what I mean? You kind of do what they do. That
Yeah.
could be anything. Like, that could be like drinking every weekend.
Yeah.
Like, if your friends do it, there's a good chance you might.
And
But
you're-
you don't
yeah.
have to do that.
No.
Right? Like, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Luckily, me and you are pretty similar, so we have like each other to like cling on to when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
But like you're right, like throughout life, you're not always going to have someone to cling on to. So you really do have that independent choice to, if you don't want to go out on a Friday night and your friends are begging, like, you have free will to say no.
Yes.
Right?
It's all about, and it gets muddled with comparison and stuff.
It does.
But-
It does. And Snapchat stories and social media and all this fake things that you see people having fun. You're like, oh, I wish I was there, but maybe you really don't. You know what I mean?
what? Do you have anything else to say to this question?
No, not really. We were just kind of diving deep into.
We're going to merge right in to our philosophy segment because the question that I brought this week actually for philosophy was,
Yeah, it kind of does have to do with what we're talking about.
what does it mean to know/understand yourself? So I say we continue with what we were saying,
Yeah,
but
let's do
also, I think that I talk about it all the time with the self-reflection time. Matthew McConaughey says a great thing during his Oscar speech before he really gets into the meat of it.
One of the best Oscar speeches I ever heard.
He says, one of the best speeches, really.
Yeah, I agree.
He says, if I got God, I got a friend, and that friend is me.
Yep.
And it's like,
I think
yeah.
it's a very powerful sentiment and statement right
You
there,
need
right?
to be for yourself because no one else is going to be able to be for yourself as much as you are.
That's such a great point. And no one's going to care as much you want to say about yourself as much as yourself. Like, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, your family will, but I don't know how. I think there's like a different way I'm trying to word this.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
No, I heard a great quote last week. I think I sent it to you. It was like, we care so much about what other people think.
Yeah.
Even though like we're putting in all the work and like all these things to like, you should really just care what you think about yourself because it really is,
Yeah.
true. You know
It was
what I
that
mean?
Marcus Aurelius quote
Like, it really was.
which said, it's fascinating to me. We love ourselves more than anyone else on the earth, but we care about other people's opinions more than our own.
That's what it was. And that is a fascinating, we talk about this all the time. Marcus Aurelius was born when? After Jesus or before? It was after, right?
After.
Yeah, but not too long after.
I don't know when
right?
exactly.
I'll look it up. But like this man, like to say that carried true to today is insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And it just shows how human nature, oh wow, 121 AD.
121 AD.
100 years
And
after.
it still holds up true today. Before and after is just insane. And that's so true, right?
I think it's because humans are just biologically programmed to be sort of not this. I mean, an insecure species because things are constantly changing. So I think to know yourself, you don't have to know what's going to happen next, but you should know your past. You should be in good. You should have a good. You should have your finger wrapped around what your past was and how it affected you, so you're aware of that. But then you should also be aware of how changes in your life make you feel and what you love most, and all that is accomplished through reflection and just sitting there and being like, okay, distractions taken away. Who actually am I? Because the reality is we're putting on a mask no matter what we do.
Yeah, no, and like what we were getting to at that point in the quote was that like, if I allowed people to judge me off like what they know about me, there's a lot of mistakes I probably made along the way. But like those mistakes have taught me the biggest lessons and kind of shaped me into who I am today. And I know who I am today. I'm very comfortable in my skin. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if I allowed people to like judge me off of one thing I did in my past, like I would never be able to move forward.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I consider myself to be a better person than like 95% of people. You know what I mean?
It's all about that just if you can get better, that's your number one responsibility. Exactly. That's your number one goal is to get better.
I've learned more from failing at things than succeeding at things. Oh my gosh. Like the biggest lessons in life.
I mean, let's be real. This podcast isn't a failure, but we want to take it to higher levels.
Yeah.
And we're not exactly where we want to be yet. So the amount that we learn on a weekly basis is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it really is. Yeah.
And I think that something also about knowing yourself and understanding yourself is what makes you truly, truly feel good. Not talking about, external substances. If you were in a room with yourself for 72 hours, which is tough, but what would you do to make yourself happy? So It's this thing that I heard a quote about, and I'm not sure if it's a quote or just sort of a mantra, which is you need to get good at feeling good.
I like that quote a lot, and it's so true.
That's one of the best skills that you can take on in your life, because if you're good at feeling good, immediately other people know when you feel good, it projects off, and you're just a better person for it. You think better, you perform better, you treat other people better.
Dude, finding that thing that makes you happy is so, so important. And it doesn't need to be one thing. Like, I've learned, I would love to sit around and watch movies all day, but that's not going to just make me happy. I would love to sit around and read that's not but doing all those things combined, like, I think we're the same. We're goal oriented, and like I like checking off tasks in a day.
Yep.
So like doing a little bit of everything in the day genuinely makes me happy. Like I like to try to fit in a movie every other day or so.
Yeah.
What's it called? Like read a little bit of book, do my schoolwork, go to work, like do all those things, and like combined, I feel kind of fulfilled in a day. Maybe not work as much, but like 9 to 5 work. But like you know what I'm saying.
But that's okay. Taking on that job to fund your dreams is okay.
Too much of anything, I feel like is my point.
Everything in moderation. And you need to structure your day. There's also this idea of structuring your day in 4 quarters. So there's the morning,
I like that,
midday, afternoon, and night. And just because you have a bad morning doesn't mean, there's comeback stories all the time in sports.
Yeah.
There's people who are down 20 at halftime and they come back and win the game.
Cleveland Cavaliers were down 3-1 in the series and came back.
Exactly. So you need to treat, if you treat your days like that, and also like you said, I love having a diverse day. I think diversity,
that's my point, a diverse day
in a day is so fulfilling because you sit at the end of the day and you think, man, look at all that I learned, look at all that I experienced, and look at all that I improved at.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And then you made a great point about the movies, making time for, not to turn your brain off, because I love analyzing movies.
Yeah, I was going to say, we really don't turn our brains off during movies.
But when the pressure isn't on you to produce, you need those times of the day.
I do agree to that.
And
then one other point, so back to the question, like, what does it mean to know/understand yourself?
Yeah.
I also wrote here, like, I wanted to talk about, like, being okay with just being by yourself. I've talked about this before. Like, we were kind of hitting upon it earlier, like, being okay with solitude.
Yeah.
Like, I said, like, I love being around people. Like, it's great to be around people.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people struggle to be by themselves during the day, or, like, even for, like, a period of time. Where, like, as I consider myself to be a person who, like, I can be a hermit crab sometimes and be completely fine with that. Like, and just be with myself and my conscious and just sit there. A lot of people can't do that, and I actually think that's a problem. So, like, if you suffer by that, I think taking some time to just get away and just like learn more about yourself is really cool. Like I've learned what makes me happy, and it's made my life infinitely better. And that's just through like going through breakups, with friends, girlfriends, whatever, and just like learning about yourself throughout that time is very important, I think.
I agree. There's
not that having a girlfriend isn't great, right?
No, yeah,
or a
yeah,
boyfriend. Yeah. I'm just saying to be able to not rely on them
yes.
is very important because there's potential, just potential, that they're not always going to be there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And most of the world's problems are a result of people not being able to sit alone with their thoughts. It really is. And
I agree. You know what else I heard that was really cool? I heard it was like a quote, but I don't know the quote. But what they were saying was a lot of us can stop talking and hear the other person, But are you actually listening to the other person when you stop talking? Or you just stop talking so you're not talking over them? Like, that's something I'm trying to work on lately.
Yeah.
Like when we talk to each other and like, we'll stop and listen, but are you actively listening to what you're actually saying? Does that make sense?
No,
like,
it does
I think a lot
a
of
lot.
people in debates, that's very common. Like, the opposing person will stop talking, but they're not truly listening to what the opposing person's saying.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to hear what they want to say next.
yes.
Right?
Yes. And if you can get to a point where you're actively listening, I truly believe that people can sense that immediately when you're actively listening to them.
Agree.
And that's how you fix any problem in your way. That's how you find a solution.
100%.
Because if you want to go to a Phillies game Saturday and I want to go Friday, if you just keep saying the reasons you want to go Friday, and I want to keep saying, if I keep saying the reasons I want to go different day,
Yeah, it's not.
we're never going to figure it
I
out.
agree, yeah.
But if I listen to you, okay, you can't do Saturday, I can't do Friday. How is Sunday? That's a very easy example.
Yeah, no, I get your entire point though. Like, this is a problem with a lot of relationships today.
Yeah.
Right? I think both people, even if they are hearing each other out, they're not truly listening to what the other
Yes.
person's saying, right? Like, the other person's saying their point and you're saying your point, but you two aren't actually listening to what the real problem is here. Like we just said in that basic example, right?
I think it's really important to, if you can, even if there's a little whiteboard that you have, if you're ever in an argument with a spouse or a close friend or anyone really, if you write down what you think the argument is about, 9 times out of 10
That's a
it will
great
be
idea.
completely different to what they believe the argument's about.
I like that a lot, yeah. Like any next relationship I get in, I think communication is
It's
going
so
to be the
big.
biggest thing.
And it's
Because-
tough.
Yeah, but we could sit around all day and tell each other, what the problem is, but if we're not
Yeah.
listening and paying attention to it, then what's really the point?
Yeah. I agree.
We went on a tangent like way down the line,
No,
but
I
I
know.
like the deep conversations. It's
Same
fun.
here. My last point about moderation is, and I guess I'll wrap this up with what I think about this, and you can do the same.
Sure.
Is just finding the balances of things that you enjoy in your life, having confidence to respect your own opinion, because right, you know the most about yourself, and executing with them, and because humans are creatures that for whatever reason we think we're a lot smarter than we are. I'll sit and say, "Oh, I'm fine just working all day." I'm not. I have to get outside and see other things. I have to have a
agree.
diverse day. So finding the balances of everything that you like and executing on them, I think, is how you understand and know yourself.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is back to what I was saying earlier, to understand and know yourself, I think you got to take time away and genuinely just like sit and, what's that called? Reflect and just kind of think like, what makes me happy? Am I this type of person, introvert, extrovert? Just like kind of literally get to understand yourself. It sounds so dumb,
Yeah.
but we get in this repetitive cycle of just waking up and just doing things and not genuinely understanding yourself, which is a crazy concept, but it's true.
But it's so important because other people can also sense when you understand yourself, because that means that, I mean, you think of the 48 laws of power, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yep.
It's like when you can be alone with yourself and you're not jumping to whatever everyone else is doing, people will respect you more, and therefore you can attract the people that you want into your life.
I agree, and I think you can get through anything in life if you can handle a situation on your own sometimes. I know it sounds like counterintuitive because you hear a lot of times like, no, you should always have a shoulder lean on, but I just think if you can handle tough times just by yourself, like you can do anything. you
Yes.
want. Literally anything, like a strong will and mind.
Problem solving, figure it out yourself, or at least take the stab at doing it. It's something I'm still working on too.
Me too. Yep. That was a fire philosophy
I
segment.
liked that a lot.
Yeah. We went all over the place, but I hope you guys took something
Pause.
away from that.
What do we got next?
Yeah, so we have our top fives this week, guys. Now we're gonna get a little lighthearted and funny again. We're back. That was Jiminy Cricket and our deep Marcus Aurelius minds thinking.
Yeah.
Our little Socrates in us. Our top fives this week. We have awkward / secondhand embarrassment situations.
Yeah. The situations where you just cringe, it's very awkward, or you get secondhand embarrassment for someone else doing something.
Yeah, I think it's mostly awkward, embarrassing situations. Though.
Yeah, awkward, embarrassing situations.
Yeah.
Top five.
Who's doing this week? I think you did. I think I went last week first. You go first.
Okay. All right. So I'll go 5-1 real quick, guys. This is the awkward / embarrassing situations top 5. My number 5 is saying what's up to someone or acknowledge and then maybe throwing a wave and you get no response.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times this has happened.
It's
to
just
me.
unreal. We
Yeah.
can't catch a like.
And the best part is I know for a fact, like, they know who I am.
Yeah.
You just think you're, like, too cool, or did you really not see me? I can never figure this out. This is one of the greatest mysteries this planet has to offer. Really.
One thing that I try to do is if I see someone I know at the gym, or anywhere, I try to go up to them right away and just say hi because it alleviates so much awkward tension.
Yeah. No. I get that 100%. I don't do that, but I get your...
But oftentimes I fail at doing it because I'm like, because then you get in your head and you're like, oh, should I go up and say, oh, did they see me wave? Did they see me wink? I don't know.
Yeah, I was here on the
It's
side
tough.
of, like, I'm just going to work out at
Yeah.
the gym. But in other places, I could see that being very...
Yeah,
very
because you don't
relevant.
want that awkward tension to happen.
Yeah, but dude, I hate when that happens. Like, it really does happen too often to me.
Yeah. You're like waiting for the perfect situation, scenario, like perfect time to
Yes,
say what's up to them.
yes.
That's another great point. Like
Or you're
can't-
waiting for them to do it, but they're probably waiting for you too.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
that like weird.
You're both waiting for the perfect time.
clashing thing. Like,
Oh, it's awkward. It's making my skin crawl just talking about it. My number 4 is when you're showing someone a video or a movie that you recommended and you instantly start justifying it.
yeah, like you're 5 minutes in, you're like, just wait, it's coming. It's gonna get better.
It gets so much better. Just wait
Yeah.
for I won't tell you, but wait for the explosion at the end.
yeah. And like, did you see that? Did you pick up on that?
And you're like looking over at them. You're like, so on your phone a lot during the movie. Is
Yeah,
there something wrong
exactly.
with
And
it?
you're like, dude, like, relax, man. I'm just trying to watch the movie.
Yeah, it's tough recommending something to someone because you're talking it up a lot. So what I try to do now is just say, yo, you want to watch this movie? I heard it was good.
Yeah, no, I don't even talk about movies now because every time I do that, the person's always just like, usually it's not living up to the
Usually
hype.
it's a disappointment.
It really is, yeah. But I think that's
Unfortunately.
because that happens to everyone because we get our excitement up when someone hypes it up.
Yeah.
And then it's just like never can meet that.
No.
It's like almost like when you go away, you have like a vacation coming up and then you go on it and you were so excited for it, then you're there.
Yeah.
And in the moment you're like, this is fun, but not as fun as my head was telling me it was going to be.
Anticipation is 80% of
It's the most fun. I can't explain it.
It's good. Anticipation is great because we romanticize it in our heads.
Exactly. You romanticize everything and it just never lives up.
It's a sad life, hard knock life.
It's a hard knock.
My number 3 is when everyone's rushing to leave the Zoom meeting.
That's become a real problem since 2020, right?
You'll be like, guys, thanks for coming out. It was great to have you.
See you,
And
Professor.
and everyone's like, and then everyone's clicking.
And if you're the last one in there, it's always awkward because you feel like they're like, damn, like she caught me. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Or when you see the thing that says the host has ended the meeting, you're like, guess I'm not quick enough.
Yeah, that's the worst. Like sometimes I'll like be in a class Zoom and I'll just walk downstairs and come back and that happens and I just know
You feel like a scumbag.
yeah, you really do. You just ruin their day. They just taught a whole lesson.
Because the professor
great.
probably went like, oh, Christian, do you have another question?
Yeah,
and it's
just no response, cameras off, or an
Right.
empty chair.
they're like, right. Guess what I'm saying is no.
No merit.
My number 2 is when everyone's singing happy birthday to you, and you're just sitting there watching the candles, really.
Oh man, that's the most awkward, maybe one of the most awkward times I ever just like feel really bad anxiety because I don't know. We were never taught what you're supposed to do. Like, do I smile really awkwardly? Do
I sing along?
it? Yes. Do I sing it? I literally can't explain it. The only more anxiety I get than that is thinking about some time I did something really cringy. It's
Yes.
the only time I'm ever
Yes.
had more like anxiety / anxiousness than
Yeah.
someone singing happy birthday to me.
living something that you did cringy back in your mind is honestly one of the worst experiences ever. That's why you just got to like move on from it.
Yeah, no. I always just like sing it and just like make goofy faces. Like I'm like, oh,
Yeah. You just got to do something that isn't sitting there like, meep.
yeah.
You know?
Blow your candles out. Make a wish.
Okay. Here I go. Yeah, it's a tough one when everyone's singing happy
Yeah,
birthday to you.
that one's
And all their
definitely
eyes are on there like, happy birthday. And you're like,
It's
Yeah.
I just move on. I hate that one so
My number
much.
one might even be worse. It's when you see someone on the toilet through the crack as you enter the bathroom, or when you're on the opposite end.
Yeah, and you don't see anything like gross. Like you
No.
don't get that great of a visual, but you just like you'll
the
like
eye contact.
You'll almost make eye contact. You see them like someone's on the toilet. You see like their like leg or something. You're like,
And it's so quick.
Yeah, it
because
really
you're walking
is.
by and you see them like,
yeah, literally. They make
and
that
they're in the
face.
worst position.
Or when you're on
humanly
the
possible.
opposite end and someone comes in, like I get like toilet shy.
Yeah, you know what? In Japan, or I forget, I think it's in Japan, they have white noise in bathrooms.
Dude, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They have like a joking episode where they do that. Like they build up like full-on barriers in between, and then they have white noise playing. But then they're like, "Wait, how's the smell gonna get out?" Like it's like that. That's the joke of the episode.
Yeah, because it gets rough when you're sitting there and thinking, this other person's in here, and I don't know how long I can hold this in.
Yeah, no. As I get older, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, honestly.
That's that thing people talk about. Like they're like, "No, getting older is great. You just don't care anymore."
But it is mad funny. One time I saw someone that I actually knew, but not well enough to bring the situation up to them through the stall. And we both made eye contact, and it was just, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
really
Oh,
tough.
that's really awkward then. Yeah. I was at work the other day, and like my boss, like this guy above me, came in, and I was in the bathroom, and I recognized his shoes next to my stall.
I did that yesterday, too.
And I literally was sitting there, I was like, "Oh man, I'm just gonna hold this in." Like, the best part was I was standing as I was actually on my phone, so then I ended up to make it less awkward. I put toilet paper down and sat down. But all right, that was pretty good.
You ever be going to the stalls just to pee?
Oh yeah, all the time. Man.
What's the point of a urinal?
Yeah,
Honestly,
the urinal at the Philadelphia, like the Eagle stadiums are the worst because like I don't want to get too vulgar, but for the ladies, if you don't know, they're just open. Like you pretty much just have like your junk out in front of everybody.
yeah.
It's just an open showing. It's
And
a
some dudes love it.
Yeah, no, some dudes love it. Like I'm in the middle. I'm like, all right, like just stare straight ahead. Like,
Yeah.
There's like no barriers in between. It's just now that's some stuff like that one family probably is into.
Yeah,
The naked family.
Some dudes are like, all right, men at their finest, let's do it.
show them something.
And I'm like, man, can I just like check my text?
bubble blowing, baby.
It really is. It really
it's
is like
like
that.
some scene like that. All right, guys, my top 5 awkward / secondhand embarrassment situations. My number 5, watching a sex scene with your parents. Dude, I'd be in my head telling myself it's normal. I'm like, it's okay. Like you're an adult now. It's not weird. But just still, for some reason, it's just slightly weird.
Yeah, it's just like because nowadays in movies the sound design is so good.
It's so good.
so
and
you
like,
don't miss a
the picture's
thing.
so vivid, and yeah, it's just like
And you're just like,
it's not weird. It's just
not.
It just feels weird.
Yes.
But it shouldn't. Like I can't explain it.
yes, I agree.
I think parents and kids can attest to that, right?
Yes, for sure. It's
That's a funny one though.
makes your skin crawl,
My number 4, when you clog the toilet somewhere that wasn't your house.
dude.
You're at a buddy's house and you just had to drop a number 2. And you're like questioning, like, I don't know if this is gonna go down. And it really doesn't, and there's no plunger in sight. You're like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna scoop this out? Like, what the hell do I do? Oh, there's a plunger.
Yeah, they're in the kitchen.
They're like knocking on the they're knocking on the, yo, you okay in there?
yeah, 1 second.
Great, I think that's it. I'm just fishing your sink out. Some hair got down here. Like, oh yeah, that happens. Don't worry.
I've once gotten to the point where
Sink in the drain.
where it's overflown.
I've never gotten to that point, but I know people who have.
And what do you do besides sit there and watch it fall? It's like watching Rome fall.
And it's always the dads that have to clean it up, and they're like, "Great, my day off. I got to clean up shit." You know.
It's great. It's great.
that's
and
funny.
yeah, it's really a bad life experience.
My number 3 is a really good one. My number 3 is when you're next in line at the grocery store with your mom, and she leaves you to just get one more thing, and the anxiety and awkwardness builds up when you're up and she's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Dude, you'll be 10 years old and you're like sitting there like shaking in your boots.
There's $250 worth of consumer goods in my cart, and I'm 10.
Yeah, no, literally. And some reason moms always like to do this when you're second up. Like you're gotta be up. They're like, oh, forgot the beans. and then they're going to get them.
Oh, we needed honey.
Yeah, meanwhile, beans are in aisle 48 and we're on aisle 2.
And she's taking her good old time,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there tapping. What we doing?
You got
I
the
don't got a
cashier
credit
saying,
card.
Honey, how you gonna pay for this?
I don't know. Toss it.
Maybe you take box tops.
I got those.
Because I got Goku cards,
Goku.
Pokemon cards.
Dude, it really is awful because
That's actually the number 1 most anxiety I ever felt was that.
they're just
To
staring
this
at you
day.
like, honey, What's it gonna be?
Yeah. To this day, I could afford it, and I still don't want to do it because I'm just nervous
I
for
know.
some reason.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, I love that one so much. I should have made that my one almost. My number 2, when your friend gets yelled at by their parents and you're just standing there awkwardly.
No, this is a good one.
This is a really good one. Like, I think everyone in this planet has had this happen.
Do you remember having to go up to
Planet Mars has probably had this happen.
your friend and be like, hey, can you ask my mom if you can sleep over?
Yes, because you got to kind of guilt trip them.
Yeah. The mom's
or
gonna
like
say
your
yes to you.
cousins. You have your cousins doing it.
Yeah. But the worst is when you're in the basement and they like, Jimmy, get up here. And you're just sitting there twiddling your thumb.
Don't you ever ask them?
And you're just sitting in the basement, you're like, yep, okay. And you just hear them getting they're just getting dogged by
Why
their
did parents say no? Would they get a rush from it? Who gives a shit?
I don't know. Yeah, right?
Like, literally, I'd be ecstatic if I had kids and someone wanted to take them in.
Yeah, right?
Take them for the week.
Yeah, what's going on?
But yeah, like when like the dad or mom, either one, is just absolutely yelling. And my dad doesn't really yell much, but occasionally, and it's just humility. Either way, when you're either on the end of it getting yelled at, or you're in front of your friends' parents, and you're like, buddy, listen, it happens to me too. It's okay. And they're like, he normally doesn't act like this. My dad's just being a little crazier today than usual.
Yeah, you go back downstairs and immediately the kid that's on the couch is he looks at you like, and you're like, nope, it was nothing.
Dude,
we were just having fun.
At this point, your buddy's putting a hammer through the wall. He's like telling you crazy shit. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill my dad. You're like, yo, dude, you relax, man. All you did was leave the pizza out.
Yeah.
You're like, no, they don't respect me. They don't have any respect.
This is your place. This is your area.
You're like, dude, relax. It's not that serious. Like, it happens. No, you don't get it.
You've only been here once. Bro,
that's one of my favorite ones. All right, my number 1. This is one of my favorite situations I've ever been in because it's happened to me multiple times.
Yeah.
My number 1, when your boy and his girl are arguing and you hear his girl say, or boy, I'm going to crash this car.
And you're in the back seat.
You're like, wait, let me pull over, let me out.
Bus stop here.
He's like, shut the hell up, let me handle this.
He's like, great, all right, yeah. Do you see this ravine right here? Let's just go right into it.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
He's like, why do I care anymore? I'll kill all of us. You're like, wait, not me, just
You're
you
like,
two.
all of us, because I'm not in this argument. I'll help mediate. In fact, I can be the mediator for the argument.
She's like, what? You don't think I'm insane? No, we do. Pull over.
Let me out here.
Let release me out.
Yeah. Dude, this is the worst because you're just in the back. You're like singing. You're like, oh.
I'm singing in the rain.
So here's my number. Call me maybe. You're like, hey, can you turn the aux up a bit? Not now, Jim. Leave it be. Here we go. Here's a ramp.
You want in on this?
You probably, yeah, dude. It gets rough because because you can't really say anything about their relationship.
No,
because deep down,
it's always the ones that have like the worst relationship ever when this happens.
Deep down, you're like,
break up, bro.
Deep down, you're like, man, I'm not gonna say it now, but he should break up.
Yeah,
or
like
she
you really should break up. Like this isn't normal,
bro.
Like like they're arguing about the way like you entered the car, all like angry.
Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
What do you mean? I just failed my calculus test.
Right. Well, you're about to fail.
You're about to fail at life when we're in a ditch.
I'm going to fail my driver's test, I guess. Bro, that's funny.
Oh, man. What a great way to end the pod. I love that.
Yeah, that is a great way. An even better way.
Might be the best top 5 ever.
It might actually be. It might be. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is a quote by Shakespeare that I'm going to end this episode with. It's a short one. Shakespeare said, "There's nothing either objectively good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Take care, everyone.
See you guys next week.